Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates in the search, I usually go about on Twitter X. Later today, I think I can manage to publish the second episode of Planet of Lana gaming series. And just a quick update that reminder that I have already 4K completed gameplay series, a bunch of them here, and the older ones which are in 1080p. I just need to get around and get a little bit more extra time to play around with more demos from my wish list on Steam. And again, live streams, I don't know. When I can, I will let everybody know when I have to manage to get a proper schedule. Until then, I'm not going to try and go for it unless I am certain that I managed to do something with that part of the channel there. Other than that, I think we're good in terms of channels updates. Let's go to the news. Not much happening except for the reviews for the 1990-50 X3D came out. I did watch only hardware unbox. Again, this is not a CPU that it's catered to my needs, but I'm always curious to see what AMD is cooking on the CPU side of things. And we seems to they launched a banger here. The overall consensus, it seems that it's basically a 9800 X3D with an extra CCD for productivity workloads. In terms of productivity, as an uplift in terms of performance regarding the 7950 X3D also. It performs in gaming the same as a 9800 X3D, at least to the suite of games that Hardware Unbox tested. They will be doing another video just testing games to see how fairly good they are in terms of comparative to the 9800 X3D. Other than that, again, it's a banger of a product. Again, the only thing that might have to take in consideration is the fact that it consumes more power because it has two CCDs, and also it costs more than the 9800 X3D, so around $700. Um, my overall thoughts on this is again, if you have a PC that it's catered to production workloads, but you like to play on your free spare time, again, I think this is the CPU for you. It doesn't have the. It seems that it doesn't have any kind of the issues that it had on the previous Ryzen CPUs with the CCD scheduling stuff there. I think this is patched out already on launch, which is good to see. But again, if you like to play around only or having a PC rig basically just to play, you just stick with the 9800 X3D. It's cheaper, supposedly around $480. The only thing regarding this 9800 X3D is stock availability in most cases. But yeah, other than that, I think we have a banger here. The work and play CPU. Again, if you're wanting something for that, you got the 9950 X3D, and basically beats the Intel 285K, I think it is the high end of this generation. And even in terms of power consumption, it's a little bit less than the Intel counterpart. And again, consumes a little bit more than the 9800 actually. Again, extra CCD there. But yeah, overall consensus seems to be that. Yeah, not a lot of caveats except for the price and the power consumption comparatively to other CPUs. Uh, Namely the 9800 X3D. But yeah, basically that is it. Uh, the AMD seems to be in a certain degree launching good or at least pretty good products from CPU, and also in this case the 9070X T GPU side of things seems to be a pretty good product as long as it maintains the MSRP, hopefully. On the other side of things regarding hardware, I watched this yesterday. I caught up on my timeline on X. Gigabyte did the ultimate PCI Express scratch test, 100 inserts and removal cycles there, and no damage to the GPU. Again, this is kind of a poke on the ASUS Q release issues that I covered a few months ago, or at least a few weeks ago, regarding the damaging on the PCB. Mainly because supposedly the Q release system, so you don't need to press any buttons. It's just as long supposedly through ASUS statements. As long as you remove it through the right angle, there is supposedly no damage to the PCB. But again, I think this one might be a better solution with the button stuff there. At least you don't need to do any kind of finicky stuff to remove the GPU by itself. Even though supposedly, again, normal user will, in the life cycle of a GPU, maybe remove, I don't know, 10 to 20 times, or at least 10 to 20 cycles of insertion and removal from maintenance and cleaning, probably replacing NVMe or something on those lines. I think that's a normal cycle of the lifetime of a GPU. But again, with the ASUS Q release, you might manage to deal damage on the first cycle. It's not good, and supposedly Gigabyte can endure at least 100 cycles without any damage, or at least without any visible damage to the PCB or even the GPU itself. On other news, I got this. I've been wanting to talk about Steam and the overall thing with Steam. And I've been watching Legendary Drops for at least a few months now, and he goes in line, and he, of course, express himself way better than I can regarding certain topics. Again, most of their videos, when they focus on the topic, are basically scripted to a certain point. And he can express usually my ideas better than I can. That's why I don't even try that much sometimes. But I do recommend you watching this video, because of, again, Steam is not perfect, but in terms of how they protect the consumer, in a sense, they understand the consumer is their breadwinner, kind of a thing there. I think he goes about and lay out the case for why Steam is a good thing, in the sense that, even given that it's a monopoly, again, it's a good monopoly to a certain sense, and he makes a good case. And I do agree basically with 99% of what he says here. Even though I think he might have missed some stuff, even though it's not, you cannot blame fully Steam for that, or Valve, regarding the CS:GO kind of stuff that goes in the backdrop. But I think he makes an excellent point of why Steam is good for the consumer or the gamers, as we are, because of several actions that other publishers trying to go about and do anti-consumer stuff, and Steam itself is protecting us from those actions being taken. I do recommend watching this. Again, as always, I will leave links in the description, everything that I cover there. Then you got a little bit of an update for No Rest for the Weekend. I've been trying to keep tabs here and there with this game. The game seems pretty good, kind of isometric view, kind of Dark Soul-ish, kind of in terms of combat, and with a lot of, I don't know, RPG mechanics inserted into it. Very interesting what they are trying to approach. Very also interesting art style that I quite enjoy here. And they did manage to announce a new major update on their early access. And they also managed to purchase the publishing rights back from Private Division, which is a good news. Again, they are basically self-publishing the game itself. And with that, they celebrate with a 30% discount valid for around 42 hours or so. So around at least a day and a half, the time of launching, of publishing this article here. Again, the update will bring the campaign to introduce new areas, armors, factions, enemies, and weapons, and supposedly roughly doubling the world size, which is always good to see. Again, by the fact they are doing this, I think the game will be more catered to through the feedback of people that are on this early access program. In terms of the breach, which is the new content update, they will have new weapon archetypes, updated loot system, more build variety. The game world is getting more dynamic thanks to their own system, Alive system, where faction and enemies dynamically reshape it. There is the plague system. Again, I'm not into depth of this game, but I know there is a plague system. Will unleash powerful new plague enemies and bosses. Outbreaks can occur through Sakra, and players can cleanse these regions to gain powerful new plague resources. And then there is also some quality of life improvements, ability to teleport directly to a home base, improved item stacking, new fast travel options, refined enchantment, timer improvements, redesigned storage system. Again, Even though the game is not have any kind of release date, I think as early access goes, this seems to be a good case of how you are supposed to do things, similar to kind of Baldur's Gate 3 case there. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this game will go on the version 1.0, so when the full release comes out. But again, as I mentioned, there is still no release date yet announced. But yeah, it's good to see that they are improving the game. They are giving feedback to taking the feedback from the players and putting out new content with that feedback in account. And again, they managed to purchase their publishing rights back, which is always good to see in a creative environment. Again, I don't think that they are now constrained in any kind shape or form of catering to demands from, I don't know, corporate talking points or something like that. On other stuff, we got again Zaum announces genre-defying espionage RPG project C4. Again, this is the same studio that launched. Oh my god, how it called Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium seems to be a pretty excellent RPG. I never played by myself, but it's one of those kind of detective kind of a thing where choice matters. Um, Very psychologically, a lot of psychological themes around that. And again, the studio itself has been embroiled in a lot of stuff regarding the rights of the Disquelism and all that jazz. A lot of developers basically left the studio and they found their own little studios. So we got at least three that we are aware of, which is Longdo, Dark Math Games, and Summer Eternal. Each one of those already announced their own games they are working on, very kind of similar in nature of this kind of I don't know, kind of variations of RPGs. This one is kind of a story of espionage. I don't know. Again, the teaser itself doesn't give us too much; just give us a tone of what to expect. I expect they play around with the psychological traits, and again, with espionage, you got the things that do you trust the information or not, and all that jazz, and taking actions based on the information that you are receiving. And to a certain extent, the other studios are doing similar stuff, but in different genres. But again, playing around with this kind of stuff, which is always interesting to see. And again, taking chances, trying to come up with new things. And yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on this one to see how it goes until it launches and see if it is good or not. Then you got a remake of the Explorer's Legacy, Amerzone. I think I already covered this game here and there. If not, I remember seeing something regarding this game. There is a remake. Again, this is kind of those remakes of games that click adventure stuff there. It seems to be maintaining the feeling of that kind of games. I remember playing this kind of games very early on, before in the 90s. I remember, I think that the Treasure Island or something. I completely forgot the name of the. It's from a Double Fine uh, type of games that they used to do. But yeah, it seems to be a decent game, at least renowned. Again, Amazon, I cannot remember its name in the back of my head. But yeah, they announced the remake there. I think this is Unreal Engine 5, if not mistaken. There is a demo out, and it comes out supposedly April 24. Again, if it's something decent, I might bring it up again. But until then, again, I will see how this will come out. And then lastly, we got Atomfall. We got kind of minimal specs coming out. Again, this is very recent. I just before recording, I just give a quick tour of the sites, and this was like 1 minute when I pick up this article. Again, the requirements doesn't seem to be that high demanding. RTX 2060, around 16 gigabytes of RAM on the system there. In terms of CPU, 94, 9400F or equivalent. The equivalent in terms of AMD of these CPUs, I don't remember very well, but it's not that big of a CPU here. In terms of storage, 16 gigabytes of space. Again, this is comes from Rebellion, which they have their own engine, Azura engine, And I'm pretty excited about this game. I always like this kind of games where you can explore, even though this one is more focused on survival than role playing stuff there. It's kind of a little bit of twist of Fallout kind of formula to a certain degree. But yeah, comes March 27. There is a kind of a teaser trailer. I think it's basically a launch trailer with the overall things that you can do on the game. But yeah, I will keep my eyes on this one. This seems to be again seems to be a pretty decent game for us to be entertained with, given that there is not a lot of Fallout games, kind of those in the market that are sufficiently good to bet our money on. But yeah, the I will assume this is 1080p 60 frames per second around that. Might as well be. Again, this is not very AAA kind of a studio, but again, it seems pretty good on the game systems, and it has pretty decent visual fidelity there. But yeah, basically that is it in terms of news. I'm just going through some gaming deals. We still have Tomb Raider Definitive Survival Trilogy bundle here, which I think it's around a total of 10 to $12 or something like that. You got the trilogy plus all the DLC or the definitive edition stuff there. Again, all the super duper stuff, including the free games there. Again, I do recommend this trilogy. I played the first two ones. I still need to one of these days play the third one, but I will going to replay them on the 4K gameplay series throughout these free games with all the super duper stuff there already included. We got Slay the Spire. Again, this is a no-brainer. If you like deck builder roguelikes, this is a game for you. 66% off. And again, I spent 150 hours or so, and I didn't even do everything in the game. So yeah, it's a very addicting one. Then you got Atom RPG to the Grad, which is basically isometric turn-based thing there. Yeah, very interesting, very positive reviews all around, and it's 80% off. Again, then I think it has, I think this is the sequel for Atom RPG, if not mistaken. But yeah, this seems to be a very positive improvement regarding the previous game that they did. We got Atomic Heart is still on sale, around 65% off on all editions. We got System Shock Remake, 63% off. Again, you got a demo here, which is always good to see if you want to try out before you buy. We got Sekiro Die Twice, Shadows Die Twice, sorry, 50% off still. We got Still Wakes the Deep, very positive reviews all around. I covered this game when it came out. It seems a pretty interesting one, and it's 50% off. We got Dredge, again, one of these games that I'm really interested in playing out one of these days. We got 50% off on basically the base game, digital deluxe edition. Then we got the complete edition, again, 33% off there. We got The Long Dark, one of those survival games, a good case of how to do an early access program. It's an older one, 2017, but yeah, it's still a pretty good one. Very positive reviews all around, and again, at least 50% off on the base game there. Then we got the Thaumaturge, more detective style stuff there. The combat is turn-based, isometric view, a lot of detective stuff with the supernatural. Yeah, very positive reviews all around, or at least positive ones, and it seems to be a good one to try out this kind of, if you like this kind of games, 45% off. Then you got The Invisible, again, a story-driven, based on a classical sci-fi book, Stanislav Lem or something like that. Yeah, Stanislav Lem, sorry. Yeah, very good reviews, 40% off. And then lastly, we got Nobody Wants to Die, more recent one. Again, very positive feedback and 40% off, which I think, again, detective story stuff there. Very interesting themes that they're trying to cover there. But yeah, I'll wrap up here for today with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. The extra support is more in line for me to get around and get some extra support for the to get a better storage solution, sorry, so that I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra storage for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.